Professor Rajnish Kumar Singh is expert of IPR, and he has written various articles on various issues of IPR. He is very active researcher in IPR so far as my knowledge is concerned, and he has a very vast experience in IPR, innovation, technologies, and others. So with this, I request Professor Rajnish Singh, sir, for his talk. Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Sukhiaji. Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here along with such esteemed people. Kalpeshji, I believe, is better suited to talk on entrepreneurship and innovation. Let me share my screen. Wait. Because I am a teacher of intellectual property, so my area won't be beyond that. Because it incidentally, is the screen visible now?
Yes, it's visible, sir.
Okay. So as I said, my area is intellectual property, and I will try to relate it with innovation. I will not be able to talk about entrepreneurship. Kalpesh will tell you more about that. And he will also probably talk about startups and career opportunities in entrepreneurship. What I wish to talk today is the relationship between intellectual property law and innovation. So I may take something around 25 to 30 minutes and try to establish the relationship between intellectual property and innovation. Kindly let me know whenever there is any problem in voice or if my slides don't move, right? So, Sophiaji, I may start now, right?
Okay, sir. Okay.
As I said, it won't be more on entrepreneurship. It won't be more on startups. It will be on intellectual property. And I wish to talk about different kinds of intellectual property which may be relevant at different stages of innovation. You see, in business, it is said that marketing and innovation produce results. Rest all is cost. And we have to understand the difference between innovation and invention as such. You see, innovation concerns with the commercialization of new ideas, while invention is not necessarily directly associated with commercialization, right? Invention is generation of a new idea aimed at solving a specific technical problem, whereas innovation is a process of product development. As we know, not all inventions are commercialized. And because innovation concerns commercialization, so therefore it is clear that not all inventions result in innovation, because many new ideas never see the light of commercial success. Now, what I try to present here is as to how effective use of tools of IP system facilitate the process of an innovation moving to market. And there lies the role of startups. So how can we move an innovation from a prototype to a market largely depends on the efficient use of various tools of intellectual property system. Right? Now, innovation may mean one of these two things: offering new commercially viable products or services, or offering more efficient ways of doing things, which may be called as improvement innovation. So offering new viable, commercially viable products, services, and second is improvement innovations. In improvement innovations, what we do is we improve products over their ancestors. It can be in the form of improvements in raw material. It can be in the form of producing a product which can be made faster, better, cheaply. You can broadly divide stages of innovation in 4 parts: conception of an innovative idea, then comes R&D stage, then comes commercialization of product or services, and then marketing of those products and services. Because the activities undertaken at each of these steps are different, so therefore different IP considerations, different intellectual property considerations will be relevant in these different stages. We'll see which intellectual property is more relevant in conception of idea, which may be more relevant in R&D stage, which form of IP is more important in commercialization and marketing. That is what I propose to talk today. But before anything, let's quickly understand meaning of intellectual property. That will help us in understanding how IP relates to innovation. Intellectual property rights, it create limited monopoly. Intellectual property is creation of your intellectual faculty, something which is created by your mind. We are talking about intangibles. And IP laws, intellectual property laws, regulate creation, use, and exploitation of intellectual property. I can tell you that intellectual property has the potential to enrich your lives, materially as well as culturally. And what IP laws do, IP laws create monopoly in favor of creator of intellectual property. These laws give you exclusive rights for a certain period of time. And because it creates exclusivity, because it creates monopoly rights, it behaves like an incentive for the creators to invest more in the process of creation, in the process of invention. Because I will not be inclined to invest money in R&D activities if I know that my results can be easily misappropriated by anybody. So therefore, if I am assured of monopoly, a limited monopoly, maybe of 20 years or 60 years or 10 years, whatever. If I am assured of a monopoly of, say, 20 years, I know that I will have an exclusive zone within which I'll be able to recoup my investment which I've made. So therefore, IP induces more creation. IP creates a situation, intellectual property law creates a situation where I am encouraged to invest more in R&D activities, in technology development, in product improvement. Different forms of intellectual property perform different functions, and these have been incorporated in different laws. All these have happened because of TRIPS agreement, we know about it. Post WTO, we are a founder member of WTO. Post WTO, we understand that we are under an obligation to either enact new laws to give protection to intellectual property or amend existing laws. We created a number of laws from 1999 Trademarks Act, then we had Patent Amendment Acts of 2002, 2005, GI Act 1999, Designs Act, and so on and so forth. All these in order to comply with the requirements of TRIPS agreement, in order to comply with the requirements of WTO. See, today we can say that we live in knowledge economy. And by knowledge economy, what I mean is that today the traditional determinants of wealth creation like land, labor, and capital are no more that relevant. Today, the way we create and manage knowledge, that determines our competitive edge. Because in globalization, you see, every single enterprise has to face competition. Every single enterprise, small enterprise, a startup, every single enterprise has to face competition, whether it is catering to domestic market or whether it is exporting. And therefore, one has to sharpen the tools so as to survive in this competitive age. And IP tools are one of those tools which enhance your possibilities, which enhance your abilities to survive in this age of competition. As I said, intellectual property are intangibles. These have hidden value. Let's take an example of a small enterprise. For example, the MSME Act 2006 will define a small enterprise as an enterprise which has total physical worth of maybe not less than 50 crores. The value has been increased in 2020, I think. Now, if I am a small scale industry, if I'm a small enterprise, my total worth is just 50 crores. Will I be able to generate a loan of 100 crores? No. Will I be able to get partners for doing business? Because I am just 50 crores worth. So there comes the importance of intangible assets. If I can convince the donors, if I can convince the banks, if I convince the partners that apart from physical worth, I have tremendous intangible worth. I have a huge patent portfolio that may attract partners, that may be useful in attracting investment. So therefore, in globalized world, in the age of knowledge economy, it is the way we create and manage knowledge, it is the way we create and manage intellectual property that determines our competitive edge. Now let's see, these are the forms of, some of the forms of intellectual property. For example, you look into any intellectual property law, the first thing which any IP law does is to identify the subject matter which is protected in that, under that IP law. For example, in Patents Act, inventions are protected. In Trademarks Act, a trademark will be protected. In the Designs Act, an industrial design is a subject matter. In copyright law, works, literary, artistic, dramatic, musical works are the protected subject matter and so on. But not every work will get protection. Not every invention will get protection. Not every mark will get protection. Every IP law will have a key word. For example, a patent shall be granted on an invention which has got inventive step, which is new, which has got inventiveness. And patent law confers a monopoly of 20 years within which nobody can misappropriate your product or process. Similarly, not any mark can be protected. That mark, in order to get protection, must have distinctiveness. Distinctiveness means ability of the mark to distinguish goods and services of one trader from goods and services of other trader. Under copyright law, a work is protected, a literary work, or anything written, printed, a dramatic work, an artistic work, a computer program. All these are protected only as long as these are original. So all these different forms of intellectual property protect different subject matter on the basis of different set of criteria. In patent, the invention has to be new. In trademark, the mark has to have distinctiveness. The design must have originality, must have novelty. The work must have originality. There are other forms of intellectual property you can see on screen. For example, related rights. You must have heard about protection given to performers, singers, protection given to broadcasting organizations, ESPN, Star Sports, and so on. Protection given to producers of sound recording, HMV, T-series, and so on. Then you have geographical indication law. It is a form of community intellectual property. For example, you must have heard about Banarsi sari or Bhadoi carpet. It is given to people living in a particular region because the product owes its quality to the climate of that region or some peculiar manufacturing process prevalent in that region. So it is region-specific community intellectual property. It is not owned by an individual. It is owned by community. Another form of intellectual property, which is generally less known, is trade secrets or undisclosed information. This is a very important form of intellectual property for somebody who is in the process of innovation. Trade secrets have commercial value because these are secrets. And it has been subject to reasonable steps to keep it secret by person who is lawfully in control of the information. This form of intellectual property, trade secret or undisclosed information, happens to be the most important form of IP when it comes to process of innovation. I'm aware that IIC is doing this program, and one of the responsibilities of IICs I've heard is to provide incubation facilities to innovators. Now, during pre-incubation stage and incubation stage, I believe trade secret is something which must be taught to every innovator. It is important to note that generally enterprise give more importance to patent and trademarks in the context of economic growth. Generally it is believed that patent and trademarks are more important in the context of economic growth. However, I just said that to me, during the process of innovation, trade secrets is the most important form of intellectual property. Why are we giving too much of emphasis, too much of importance to patent law? It is visible in the trend of patent filing nowadays in Indian Patent Office. Many of you must have followed the trend. Till 2005, maximum number of patent applications used to go to Japanese Patent Office, then US Patent Office took over, then Chinese Patent Office took over. India is steadily increasing in rank as far as growth in number of patent applications is concerned. There has been 400% increase in patent grant in last few years by Patent Office. There has been 200% increase in patent filing. Why is this happening? There are 4 regions which I have identified. You can see on this, on the 5 regions, in fact. The first point is more and more people are filing patent applications, and the trend is going to increase. This is happening because, one, there is a shift towards knowledge-based industries. So we are giving more importance to intangible assets. As I mentioned, that it is the way you manage your intangible assets that determines your competitive advantage. So first reason is we are shifting towards knowledge-based industries. Second, a very important reason is outsourcing of manufacturing activities to subcontractors. See what happens if I am the patent holder and I want to outsource manufacturing of some part to a small enterprise, to a small company. First of all, I will have to ensure that my invention is not misappropriated. It is not reverse engineered. So in order to do that, what I'll do, I'll first of all claim patent in the country where I want to outsource, and then outsource the job to some subcontractors. So this outsourcing of manufacturing is also a big reason why we have more patent filing these days. There are legislative changes at national, regional, and international levels. There are policy level changes. For example, you must have heard about the IPR policy of 2016, which emphasizes too much on patent filing. Acquisition of patent is an important aspect of IPR policy 2016. Similarly, you have innovation policy. Your IIC finds justification in innovation policy of 2017, where universities and educational institutions of higher learning have to establish institute innovation councils to provide incubation facilities and so on. All these legislative changes, all these policy level changes are also contributing in increasing the number of patent applications. Further, there is a trend towards expanding the subject matter of patentability, not by legislative changes, but by way of judicial interpretation. For example, you can see section 3K, which says that computer program per se is not patentable. However, we get thousands of patents on computer-related inventions because judiciary has also expanded the scope of patentability. The last reason, which will gradually pick up, is that there is a surge in patenting among universities and public sector R&D institutions. So this is, as of now, this is true for foreign countries, but very soon it will happen in Indian context also. Universities with their IPR cells and with their IPR policies are also encouraging patent filing. Public sector R&D institutions are also planning to go for patents. So the trend will go in a positive direction. These are the reasons why we are giving importance to patent and trademark in relation to economic development. Now let's come to the first stage. What IP considerations are relevant during the conception of innovative ideas? Because I said there are 4 stages of innovation: idea, then R&D, then comes commercialization and marketing. So what all IP considerations will be important at the stage of innovative ideas is the first thing. The most important thing is prior art searching and analysis. Prior art is the entire knowledge which exists on the date when you are filing your application. So prior art means entire knowledge which is in existence. Now, I'm not saying that you go and read entire literature which is available in the world. No. But yes, analysis of patent literature is of great importance. There is vast amount of information available in patent literature. All the granted patents contain tremendous amount of technical knowledge, technical information. And simply by perusing through patent literature relevant to your discipline, you will be in a position to ascertain whether your invention is new or not, whether your invention is potentially patentable or not, whether your innovation, your idea has potential market or not. And on the basis of these decisions, you can finally come to a conclusion whether you should proceed with investing in your idea or not. So first thing is to get assured of the fact that you have an idea which will have market tomorrow. And to get that understanding, as I said, granted patents, the patent literature is a very useful document. In addition to understanding the merit of your idea, you also understand as to who all are potential competitors, what is the technology trend which is prevailing, all these information on the basis of your analysis of patent literature. So the first most important thing is to understand how to look into granted patents, how to locate granted patents with respect to your idea, with respect to your subject, right? Now, during this initial stage, it is also important that you must keep your innovative ideas as trade secret. Because if it is disclosed, you will not be able to file patent tomorrow because that forms part of prior art. So the most important thing to be kept in mind is keep your innovative idea a trade secret. This will help you on two counts. One, it will not alert the competitors about your innovation process. And second, tomorrow, it may be useful for claiming patent. Further, tomorrow you may also come to a conclusion that you have not perfected an invention fit to be patented. But if it is a trade secret and you think you are in a position to keep it secret, you can start commercialization. Because not all innovative ideas will end up in the form of a commercially successful invention, right? So this is what I expect from an innovator at the early stage of his innovation process. As I said, the most important aspect is trade secret. There are certain requirements which have to be fulfilled in order to be qualified as trade secret. For example, the information must be documented. Access to the information must be controlled. There must be limited access. It must have some commercial value. And of course, it must be secret. Examples can be business plans, manufacturing processes, algorithms, software code, marketing information, client data. All these can be examples of trade secrets. And therefore, in order to keep it secret, another very important thing is to enter into confidentiality agreements with those conceiving the innovative ideas. Suppose I am the employer, I must enter into a confidentiality agreement with the employees who are conceiving that idea. Further, I must also have confidentiality agreement with all my suppliers, collaborators, subcontractors. So at the first stage of innovation, confidentiality agreements, in order to ensure that trade secrets are not leaked, and survey of patent literature are two very important aspects. There are disadvantages of trade secrets also. And we try and understand, if I have patented an invention, nobody else can come to the same result. Even if he has not copied my invention, he will not be given protection. You cannot come to the patent office and say that I have invented on my own. It is the result of my independent efforts. I have not copied. That will not work. once a product has been patented, nobody else can come to the same result. But in case of trade secrets, a third party can always claim protection for a similar trade secret if he has produced it by way of his independent efforts. Disclosure of a similar or identical innovation by a third party will not mean breach of your trade secret. So it is in a stage of fluid. You don't have a full-fledged trade secrets law. So therefore, there are disadvantages of this form of intellectual property, that all the efforts to keep it secret will be yours. But the importance is, if you don't keep it secret, you will lose it forever. Because tomorrow when you will go for patent, the information is already there in public domain. It is becoming difficult these days to keep something a secret, because nowadays employees change companies quite often, regularly. So that makes it even more difficult to keep something a secret. Right? Further, there is another important point which I wish to make. You have invented something, there is an idea in your mind. You have to take a decision whether you want to go for patents or whether you want to keep it a secret. Why I'm saying you have to take a decision? Because if you go for patent, you will be given monopoly for just 20 years, after which the information comes to public domain. Anybody is free to manufacture and sell. But if you go for trade secret protection, as long as you can keep it secret, the monopoly continues. So whether you want to go for trade secret or you want to go for patent protection, you have to take a decision, primarily keeping in mind the nature of invention. If the invention relates to drugs, if it's a pharmaceutical invention, we all know that drugs can be easily reverse engineered. So it is really difficult to keep the formula secret, right? So going for trade secret protection in the area of drugs and pharmaceuticals will not be a wise idea. So therefore, one must go for patents. However, if it is an invention which relates to, for example, aviation, where reverse engineering is not that simple, one can think of trade secret protection. So whatever may be your decision, whether you want to go for patent or you want to go for trade secret protection, at the initial stage of conception of idea, you must always keep the idea a secret, so that tomorrow you have the option to take a decision whether you continue to keep it secret or you go for patent protection, right? There are certain important things which you will come across while innovating. For example, technical drawings. Technical drawings are very important documents when it comes to claiming patent protection. So keep technical drawings as secret. In addition, you can also claim copyright protection on drawings. There is no requirement to get the drawings registered for copyright protection. Copyright is automatic protection. But what is important is somewhere date must be mentioned, or you can mail that drawing to yourself so that date is fixed, date of creation is fixed. These technical drawings could also be used at a later stage as part of patent application. Now the second stage is R&D stage. What IP considerations are relevant during R&D stage? Trade secrets continue to be relevant. The patent literature, analysis of patent literature continues to remain relevant. The European Patent Office estimates that 70% of the information in patent documents is not available elsewhere. That's the importance of patent literature, patent documents. With more than 8 lakh patents granted annually around the globe, it is a huge collection of information. And therefore, locating the right information will help us in wasting our resources, wasting our money during the R&D process. Patent documents may hold information that can lead to further improvement in the product. You see, small enterprises, startups, for startups, it is really important to become viable as soon as possible. Kalpeshji will better tell you, but I understand that startups, in order to survive, will have to become viable as soon as possible. So therefore, going for long innovation process and then claiming patent, which also takes a lot of time, they may by the time lose their viability and may end up doing nothing. So for startups, for small enterprises, incremental innovations are important sources. They may not innovate from scratch. They may do product improvement. They may go for incremental innovations, keeping an eye on the restrictions which are there in the Patent Act. In addition to incremental innovations, small innovations, they may also go for design innovations. And by the time they come out with full-fledged innovation, they have already become viable by virtue of their incremental innovations or design innovation. A lot of incremental innovations, smaller innovations, depend on the information which we get from granted patents. Product improvements, process improvements. So therefore, patent literature analysis, prior art analysis, continues to remain a very important thing even in the stage of R&D. Another important point in the stage of R&D is this is the time when you have to file your patent application. Because now you have an invention which has been conceived and now it is time for you to file patent application. Once a patent application is filed, the clock starts ticking. It means that we have deadlines to meet. You have to get your application published within these many months, get it examined within these many months. So once an application is filed, the clock starts ticking. You have to keep an eye so that you don't miss the timeline. Otherwise, it is deemed to have been abandoned by you. You also have to have some strategy when you think about filing a patent application. You should not file it too early because it may be an immature application. You may not have sufficient experimental data to support your claim. At the same time, you should not be too late in filing the patent application because somebody else may file it before you. And the rule says that first, one who is first in filing the application will be granted patent protection. R&D stage is also important for the purposes of examining third-party rights because you may be drawing too much from third party, from public domain. Your product may ultimately become an infringing product. So therefore, you must keep an eye on the patent portfolio of your competitors, the risk of infringement, and you have to take a decision as to what all IP must be bought, what all IP must be attacked. Should we go for revocation of some third-party patent? How to avoid infringement of third-party patent? All these decisions have to be taken at the stage of R&D. I already mentioned that another important tool is design registration. Nowadays, all these products, all the consumer products you see come with some design. Design protection means protecting the aesthetics of that article, that object. Now, this is the time, R&D stage is the time when you also think about filing protection for design. And therefore, design registration and patent filing are two important decisions which you have to take at the level of R&D. The third is commercialization. Somebody who is working with startups will better tell you that the aim of business organization is to maintain market share, expand market share, create new market. What IPRs do? IPRs give you exclusive rights. IPRs stop others from entering into market. Therefore, companies with strong IPR will have better market position, will have stronger market position. Managers will have to understand that IP is not just an asset. Intellectual property is a tool. Now, if I get patent for 20 years, only I will manufacture the product within 20 years. Now, during these 20 years, not only the product, I also get 20 years to exclusively promote my trademark. You understand? So, patent is helping me to get exclusive period within which I will promote my trademark, free from any competition. So strong IP portfolio will ensure stronger market position. Role of IP depends on the business model which you are adopting. Role of IP will depend on the stage of evolution of business. As I just said, more than legal people, it is the managers who need to know about IP because they have to deal with IP on daily basis. You see, this is the IP value chain. You can see it on the screen. This is IP value chain. Idea becomes product in the stage of innovation, IP filing and IP maintenance. This is portfolio management. You file IP, you get the grant, you pay the renewal fees, keep your IT on register, IP maintenance. This is portfolio management. So first, idea to product is innovation. From filing of IP to grant of IP to maintaining the IP is portfolio management. Then you determine the value of intellectual property and you license it to third party. This is commercialization. Right? So broadly, you have innovation, then portfolio management, and then commercialization. Because as the portfolio grows, you are filing more and more intellectual property. Its management becomes important and difficult. You see, there are many examples. There was a company called as Dow Chemicals. It started auditing its intellectual property portfolio and came to conclusion that it is maintaining 28,000 patents. Many of those patents were idle patents, were not producing any money, any revenue. So they decided to waive those patents so as to make the portfolio a profit-making venture. So if you have, as the business grows, as R&D grows, your IP portfolio will also grow, and then it becomes difficult to manage the IP because every form of intellectual property, particularly patent, you require a lot of money in maintaining the patent. You pay a patent renewal fee every year. Now, if an invention is not commercially worked, that means you are maintaining it for no commercial gain. That means you are draining out your resources for nothing. And therefore, there are two words which are important for startups, for any business enterprise. One is IP valuation, and the second is IP auditing. IP valuation is you must know the value of your intellectual property. You must know whether it has the potential to be commercially worked. IP auditing does not only mean knowledge about your intellectual property portfolio. It also includes study of your competitors' portfolio so that you are in a better position to take a decision whether to forego IP or whether to continue with the IP. So IP valuation and IP auditing are two very important aspects when it comes to portfolio management. The last aspect is commercialization. We know that hardly 3 to 5% patents ever become royalty generating patents. And out of these 3% patents, our licensing agreements are mismanaged. We don't know the value of our intellectual property. Many of the teachers who have written books will tell me that when they write books, they don't decide the price of that book. It is the publisher who decides. We get 10 to 12% as revenue, as license money. Rest goes to the publisher. So the physical property is of 88% worth, and the intellectual property is of just 12% worth. That is how we are poor in managing, in valuing our intellectual property. So the most important conclusion is that more than lawyers, as I said, it is the managers who require better understanding of tools of intellectual property system so as to face the competition. Let me conclude by saying that strategic use of combination of IP tools in the innovation process can contribute to higher profit margins and maintenance of market position. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for a very detailed and insightful lecture on IPR and innovation. You have really explained of various issues, procedure of IP and its related aspect related to startup and innovation and all that. And I hope that your lecture will be very beneficial for all those who are involved in innovation and all other R&D activities of our university. Students will be very beneficial. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much. And now I invite our second speaker, Dr. Kalpeshkumar L. Gupta, sir, for his talk.
Hello. Yeah. Good afternoon. Thank you very much, Sufia ma'am, Preeti ma'am, Rajnish sir, and all the esteemed the member of higher authority, CIIE, IIC, and obviously honorable Vice Chancellor. So I'd like to thank Rajnish sir for talking about the IP. It's in detail. Let me give them one of the example. 3 students from Lucknow a few years back, they came for a business plan competition in GNLU. So I was there, right? And then you might have Lucknowi chicken is a very famous. So they started initiative to protect that Lucknowi chicken with their startups. So that still that I remember those initiative, how the law helps, IP. Especially I would say patent and trademark is very essential when you start your own. Second thing, I'm very fond of, I'm foodie, I would say, I keep talking about the food entire day. So there is all of you must be aware of Vada Pav. It's very famous, right? So that nearby shop that's called Day Night Vada Pav. So I am in Vadodara right now. So 3 years back, I came to Vadodara and then I saw, one guy is selling Day Night Vada Pav. Actually, he's doing business for last more than 15 years. And then they were having the business in rented house. And 1 year back, they got their, they purchased their own shop. And right now they are giving franchisee to all over Vadodara in Gujarat. And then every month I can see last few months, every month one shop is coming up. That's in the franchisee model. This is the power of branding and obviously enabled by the trademark, the Day Night Vada Pav, right? And then the Vada Pav factory. That's a caption. So this is the way of power of the trademark, and then obviously, so IP is very well related to startups. आप जब startup की बात कर रहे हैं, so IP can really help you, and especially the trademark very initially. Like patent, it may take some time. As rightly stated by sir, it takes. A few years back, I did some calculation. It takes 6 to 7 years to grant a patent, right? There's no use of it. You cannot wait for 20 years, right? Uska kuch nahi ho. I remember one of the quote by Microsoft, the founder, right? So he stated the IPR is having the shelf life of banana, right? You cannot say it takes a lot of time, right? In that to wait for it have to commercialize within very few years. So let me start with my presentation. I'll be very fast because it may take some time to. I hope my PPT is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Visible, sir. Visible.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. So now, again, I keep talking about I'll be sharing my experience as a teacher. I didn't get the opportunity to learn about the startup entrepreneurship. Obviously, it was not there at our point of when we studied in BCom. I did BCom and then LLB, LM, nothing. When I started working with various organizations, especially IIM Ahmedabad, then I learned about what is startup entrepreneurship. When I attended some of the guest lecture in my in Ahmedabad, in Gandhinagar. Now again, when you are talking about the startup, so you can say what is startups. Again, keep discussing this thing in my workshop seminar. So I won't be asking question too because of the paucity of time. जब स्टार्टअप की बात करते हैं, what comes to your mind, right? स्टार्टअप की जरूरत क्यों है, right? What is the need of startup? Why startups succeed? What is entrepreneurship, right? Startup ecosystem, and then some of the example I'm talking about the legal startup and startup also. And please do not take it as a like a legal startup. Some of the law students they started something. It's not related to law, right? Same thing. There are example people from management, engineering background. They have initiated startup in the legal field. So please do not constrain or restrict your field, whatever you are studying, you have learned, or what we are teaching, right, to your practical thing, right? It's all about the problem solving. So when you're talking about the startup, so you can see startup is a young company, right? I'm not connecting or restricting, right? Okay, startup was started 2 years back, 3 years back. You can say startup is a young company, right? Various examples, definitions are there related to like startups. So now you can say startup started, like, okay, obviously there is a definition of startup by the government because of the incentive purpose. Okay, it was 7 years. Now it's a 10 years for the incentive purpose. Again, keep focusing on that. So startup, you can say young company, and then initially finance operated by few people. It's an entrepreneurial venture, right? Various examples are then there is a potential for the growth, right? Now you see startup again. This is I would like very important definitions from my perspective, that you finding a problem, right? Okay, you're working on the solving a particular problem, right? You do not know about what will be the solution, and then you don't know what will be success, it will get the success or not, right? Always there is an ambiguity regarding their success. So again, you're solving, it's like an experiment that you are doing. It's not about the science thing, right? Whichever field you are there, you are finding a problem, right? You want to solve that problem with your innovative approach. Now you see, what is the need of startup, right? The first thing should come to your mind. It's about the problem solving. I keep asking this question in the seminar workshop. So sometimes I get the response is, okay, I want to make a money. That is fine, right? But again, there are a lot of business, right? You can make a money. Obviously, startup, you need to make money, right? So first thing should come to your mind, the problem solving, right? Innovative approach, right? How innovative it's there. So again, you must be aware about the difference between innovation and invention. So invention that you are doing in the first, right? Like for example, the bulb was invented. Like you can see various bulbs like LED and CFL, a lot of the lighting equipments are there. So we call them as a innovation, not invention. And obviously it will help. It's helping for the economic development. It generates employment. So first thing, right, couple of things should come to your mind. It's about the problem solving and innovative approach. Obviously, if you build up a very good the product or services, obviously you will get the traction, right? People will be attracted to your product and services, and definitely will make a money. So that should come to your mind. Now related to the startup succeed, I hope my slide is moving. I'm slide number 10. Hello, ma'am, can you confirm?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm on slide number 10. So again, be like, what, for example, if you as a faculty or incubation center or cell, if you ask students, okay, why are you thinking, right? What do you think that your startup will succeed? Or first thing, and what will be a constraint? The first thing will come to mind or response from the student side. It will be like money. Mere paas paisa nahi, right? That will be a first response. But again, thanks to the startup ecosystem, Startup India campaigns, right? Launched in 2016. So that I can see for last 6 years, the scenario has changed. This is a very, later on you can see this, TED talk on YouTube. Why startups succeed? So पैसे की जब बात आती है, okay, मेरे पास पैसा नहीं है, how will I start the any initiative? So this is not the scenario. Like you can see he did the research like Bill Gross. Now you can see here the funding. You can see like he started many startups, he failed, he succeeded in many startups. So funding, you will see it is on the bottom. Right now the ecosystem has changed, right? You have a very good idea. right, will get the funding, right? There is a facility, right, support system in your institutions. And I would say, unfortunately, most of the students, they are not aware about the support system available in their institutions. This is the experience I keep telling in last few years. I asked them, do you know about the incubation center is there, or any cell, any support system? They are not aware about this. This kind of support system. Few months back, we have an orientation program for the student at Paru University. Then student, team member from the EDC, like Entrepreneurship Development Center from Paru University, they came. Like Paru University is having around 35,000 plus students, 36 departments. So you can imagine the area, right? And a lot of departmental students. And there were around more than 130 students. Only 5 to 6 students, they were aware about, okay, there is a EDC, Entrepreneurship Development Center in the Paru University. So we both as a faculty and the member from EDC center, they admitted it's a lack of, it's a fault from our part that we are not making students aware about this kind of facility. That at least like we can have orientation in the beginning. Okay, we have a facility center, this kind of, and then if we've come up with idea or plan some kind of activities, or this is also one kind of activities to make the student aware of the startup, what are the opportunities at the startup ecosystems, how supporting this, various startups across in India. So now you can see he came with the conclusion. It's all about the timing, right? I also believing in this thing. If you have idea, just launch it over. Definitely, sometimes you may fail, you will learn, but it's all about the timing. Sometimes you see the business model is very good, you will grow. Its idea is fantastic, right? Because of that, you will succeed. Your team and execution is wonderful. But sometimes you for the timing, and then we'll see the example in upcoming slide. There is an issue, right? And then you come up with that particular point of time, you come up with product and services, and then you'll get this immediate success. So again, there are very few examples regarding that. Sometimes you foresee and start planning for that particular service very well in advance. You will see, okay, there will be demand after a few months, few years, or so those kind of scenarios are there. He talked about one of the, like when YouTube started, there was no revenue model. Now you can see they are, earning billions of rupees by way of advertisement. And now you can see we, right, as a citizen, we are creating content on YouTube and they are making money. Obviously, we are running YouTube channel. They are running, and then some YouTube, the creator YouTubers, they are earning crores of rupees by way of their channel. Now, so it's all about, right? I'm not, like I keep telling you workshop. So it's not about, for example, you have very good funding, you can succeed. It's all about if you have very good team, right? You are CEO, CTO, and then other few members are very dedicated and then obviously talented and having requisite skills. So that also can help you succeed. But it's all about right? He did the research, Bill Cross. Okay, timing really matters. I also feel that if you come up with some idea and okay, let me start with those things, and definitely you'll get the support. But first thing, right, you have to work upon your idea. It's not like, okay, I have an idea and then give me money, you will get the support. It is not the way, right? First of all, you have to work on your idea a few months, few years, and then people will start believing. And sometimes you see some of the, think people will laugh at your idea. But again, some of you, I don't know, you must be watching Shark Tank also, like 2 edition that, the season is done, and some of the seasons, right, episodes, they laughed, sharks, they laughed again, that some of the idea, and the entrepreneur also, they were, they were mimicry also, right, who presented their idea, because it is not like that, and some of them didn't get the fundings also, but later on, because of appearing on the Shark Tank, they get the funding, they got the attraction also, right? And then this is the way, like it will take some time. You come up with your idea, right? And initially, right, people will start noticing your idea, product and services, and then you'll get the something out of that. Now, related to entrepreneurship, so entrepreneurship is an umbrella, right? Tata, Birla, Ambani, Mahindra, they are entrepreneurs. Everybody's like entrepreneur starting a business. So startup is a subset of entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship includes startups. Now, one important thing is like social entrepreneurship. Again, let me give you an example of, from Lucknow. So all of you must be aware about the Zeros Hangout. right, in Lucknow. So run by AC Detect Survivor. Right, so was might have seen the movie Chapak. Deepika Padukone, she played the role of Lakshmi. There's a case of Lakshmi versus Union of India. So they started like social. So social entrepreneurship means there is a social issue. You want to solve that issue with the like innovative approach, right? Obviously, revenue model will be there. So Ceros Hangout in Lucknow, again, it's an example of the social entrepreneurship, because nobody will be hiring the people having having like disability or any kind of like the issue with like a attack or anything else. Like hardly very few organizations they support. And then example you will see like some hotels in Bangalore and other like area also, they had deaf and dumb people, disabled people as a waiter or service provider. So this is called the social entrepreneurship. Social entrepreneurship, social issue is there, and they are solving that problem, right, with an innovative approach. Obviously, revenue model will be there. पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे, right? Revenue and business model. The Miracle Courier, again, one of the example you can see, they had deaf and dumb people as a courier boy in Mumbai. Gunj, it's a very well-known NGO, right? Started by Ansu Gupta, right? You must be aware about. Menstrupedia, like, menstrual cycle, right? Again, it's a taboo in India. So for explaining those things, so Aditi, she started this in 2016, this Menstrupedia, to making people aware about this menstrual cycle, and then, others, it's a way of story. Now, various other terms you might have seen, like, as I already discussed, social entrepreneur, woman starting something is called womanpreneur, technological something starting in techpreneur, education in edupreneur, like Vedanta, Beju, they are like, edupreneur, right? Couple, like you see, like two couples, like in Shark Tank, season 1. So around 9%, the pictures presenting before the sharks in that, Shark Tank, India. So in that, so they were couples. Like various examples are that I'm from the, law background. So I have seen various, my classmates, so they were studying in law school, they got married, they started law firms. So again, it's called couplepreneur. Like Sugar Cosmetics, must be aware about Vinita, and like they were from, I am Ahmedabad, right? So they started, so you can get Kaushik Mukherjee's name. So couplepreneur. Now, one of the best example, I'm sure, like very few, I would say 0.000, like they'll be using sanitizer and mask before Corona. After Corona, like everybody had to use sanitizer and mask. So one of the article I was reading called Disasterpreneur. As I told in the beginning, some problem is there that you come up with your product and services and very well fit in that time. Like demonetization, what happened? Paytm, there was a boom like Paytm. Actually, they started. It's not like, demonetization, Paytm was launched. It started in 2009, 197 telecommunication, that's the name of company. The brand is Paytm. So again, you start something in past, you get the result in near future. Or so this can kind of thing happen. Like, so disasterpreneur, like for example, sanitizer in Gujarat. I was reading one of the article in Times of India. So there were around 250 sanitizer making companies were there at that time before Corona. In like 2.5 years, it got tripled. It was around 700 plus. Now, obviously, if you use months back, I was reading again, it's going down because now nobody's afraid of Corona. Now everything is settled. So many of the company they've had to shut down because of there is no demand. So this is called disasterpreneur. There are various examples regarding that. Now I'm sure some of the students must be interested, and then might have seen some of the episode also, Shark Tank season 1 and recently concluded 2 also. Right? This is my request. Aap idea suniye. Various examples. I watched this, Shark Tank with my family, my 2 sons. Elder one is, in 6th class, and then younger one is in 3rd class. So we watch, and he also likes business, talking about this business idea. So this is, you'll get the idea. Log sochte kaise hai, right? How they're finding a problem, and then how we are solving that problem with, innovative approach. Sometimes we see some biases, and that's very usual. But again, how they are, taking those idea to the next level. Sometimes some idea is very fantastic. It's again needs of the hour. It's very essential in country. But sometimes some idea is very usual. okay, like somebody is selling some eatables or any other item. Sometimes they also commented also, I remember one of the pitchers who is pitching, making presentation before the SAC, it's called pitchers. So in that case, they commented like you are having like, having the solution looking at the problem. So that was a remark made by, so just see, it's available whenever free, at least see some of the pitch idea, because whatever I have learned listening to other people's, how they are making money, how they are executing, how they are getting, finance. As a teacher, as I told you, I didn't get the opportunity to learn related to startup or anything else. And some of the movie web series you might have seen, Physics Wala, you must be aware about, right? How we started. So you can just see web series on Amazon Mini TV. And then Pictures, there are season 2, how these 3 guys working on their idea, pitching before, and how they're struggling to get fundings, executing those idea and the operations. Udan movie you might have seen, must be aware about Air Deccan, right? So low cost air carrier. Allies company. So how we struggled. So all of you might have seen this episode, and then web series also, movie also. So you'll get the idea how to think, how to execute, how to deal with the problem, right? While executing your idea. Now related to startup ecosystem, I hope I am on slide number 16. Slide move ho rahi hai, madam?
जी सर, जी हो रही है.
Thank you. So startup ecosystem, you can see, like, sure. So startup ecosystem, आप देख रहे हैं जैसे IIC and CIIE. So it's a part of startup ecosystem. So idea आने से पहले, right? For example, आप सोच रहे, you are thinking related to some idea, right? You start working on that part. You come up with prototype, right? So come up with, you validate those things, and so this is the from ideating, you come up with concept, you think, okay, now it will grow, right? You commit yourself, you validate those things, whether it's working or not, and then go for, a scaling, right? You growth stage and stage. It's all kind of, so from idea to growth. So it's a part of, startup ecosystem. Now you can see a lot of things are there related to startup ecosystem. As I told you that IIC and then CIIE from your university, it's a part of, startup ecosystem. Entrepreneurs, mentors, funders, supporters, incubation center, right? Funding dete. It's not about incubation. You will see a lot of other facilities are also given to incubators, students available for students, and investor network, advisor, mentor, right? So this is a part of entire startup ecosystem. So it's Startup India again, as I told you in beginning, because of the Startup India campaign announced in 2015, launched in 2016. Because of that, the startup, it's become a buzzword, right? Thousands of startups have come up in last, 6 years. And keep growing in that part. Now you see, in related to Startup India campaign, last 3 years, ranking done by DPIIT, the Ministry of Commerce. So reason, like when you see different categories are there. Last 3 years, Gujarat is the top reason. Some of the very good policy from the Gujarat. So you can see the best performer is Gujarat, and then UP, you can see it's aspiring leaders. So it's, keep again in making good efforts to reach in the leader and top performers. Emerging state, beginners, so they have classified in that. So 2019, again, see best performer in Gujarat, and then emerging states. So UP is there in that category, emerging states. Now you can see different, this is the latest ranking. So you can see emerging states. Now UP is in the leader stage. Obviously, best performer in Gujarat, top performer Kerala, Maharashtra, Odisha. Leaders, you can see Assam, Punjab, and UP is there. So again, UP is doing well in last, couple of years. So again, this is a very good policy. I keep talking about this policy all over the India. So in Gujarat, we have student startup innovation policy. So student locally, right, it was launched in 2017, the first edition, second edition now recently launched. So student gets up to 2 lakh rupees funding, right? It was launched by Education Department 2017. So recently in the revised policy in 2.0, they'll be giving funding up to 2,50,000 rupees. And then the basic thing is that they are not taking that money back. This is very good policy, and then obviously every state should implement this kind of policy, or at least university level also. If you come up with this kind of policy, starting with maybe 50,000, 1 lakh rupees for the funding, and obviously if CSR funding also, like some institutions and company giving to funding to universities also from there, right? They will get the exemption also, the companies, and from their incubators as a CIIE. So give funding to students. Sometimes actually, let me tell you, there is a requirement of only few thousands rupees. There are platforms I have seen started with 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 rupees, and they are right now they're making money in lakhs of rupees, I would say. So this is the way it can be started, like student startup innovation policy, some initiative with small funding. For example, at least you can your university start with some funding. Okay, every year 20, 30 students will be getting funding under this policy. You can talk to your state government also, and then initiate this kind of policy for the benefit of new students. So that was a policy, and recently they started this company, not for profit company. It's called iHub, Innovation Hub, so popularly called as iHub. So it's a not for profit company. The SSIP was again, it was policy. This is the company. Now you see support how the ranking. Like how about the startup ecosystem, R&D facility, networking, incubation centers. This was the parameter to decide the ranking that we have discussed a while ago. Now this is the example, like you might have seen. Again, I was in Ahmedabad. The name was same in Ahmedabad. It's one of the old incubation center in India, CIIE in Ahmedabad. So again, name will differ. Like I have seen incubation cell, center, different nomenclatures are there all over the India. And then this is the same name with Ahmedabad. I don't know how many students know about this center, like CIIE in BBAU. So every time I suggest, if we are not doing, make them aware about, okay, have a orientation session in the beginning, especially freshers, right? And make them aware about this kind of, talking about the startups and what kind of facilities, support systems are available under the roof of CIIE at your university. Now, related to, as I told in beginning, so this is for the incentive purpose. So you'll get a lot of benefit from the Department of, under this scheme. Earlier it was 7 years. Now it's 10 years from the, your registration of a startup. It's called maybe a registered partnership firm, LLP, or it's a limited liability partnership, and a privately limited company. So this is for ticket. Now you can see the last line. They're focusing on the innovation, development, improvement of products, right? So first thing you should come up with something very unique. Right, as I told you, law student, they identify the issue with how to popularize. Right, there are various stories are there because of their geographical indications. Lucknowi chicken is very famous. They took the initiative and they got it registered, and the entire that viewers, workers, the association organization, they will get the benefit from that particular. Now nobody can use like that use. Okay. In Gujarat or any South India Indian state, they cannot use like Lucknowi chicken. They have to come up with their own. Like Darjeeling tea, again, it's India's first geography indication. Everybody is getting association growers. They are getting benefits. There are various examples. They have really helped to change life of that particular that area, and then people working in that particular segment. Now, why startup fail against you? What we do. Like whatever is there, right? We copy and try to replicate. Jugaad that is fine. But again, you have to think out of box for the sustainability. Otherwise, what will happen, right? You start something, you copy, and again, you will see thousands of, same kind of business, the company will be there. So you will see various examples are there, like Uber was there. They come up with Ola, Amazon, Flipkart, Spotify, Ghana.com. So various examples are there's a very few I have discussed. The Flipkart again, what they did, right? They come up with cash on delivery. So it was not there in Amazon. So this was again value addition, I would say. Aap copy kar rahe, that is fine. But again, you come up with your own addition, right? Ye laane ki zarurat hai. Now related to legal, I'm not talking about legal startup. As I told you, do not restrict. I keep telling my law student also, khali law mein hi hame kaam nahi karna hai. Right, I'll give you an example. Engineers, they have come up with platform, right, for the legal field, right, helping the legal fraternity. Same thing, the law students, some of my law students, they started something in some different area. So please do not restrict yourself. आपको problem लग रही है, right? You can think that you are studying, okay, there may be a lot of problem at your institution, university level also. You think, okay, this is an issue with something, and then you can come up with your some product or services helping to your institution, your university. That can be also done in your society, in your district, in your region. It's all about identifying problem, observation, and not from the reading books. I have not learned this kind of thing, okay, from the reading books, from the observation I have learned, and okay, this kind of thing can happen, this kind of thing can be done, so in that particular area. So please do not restrict yourself. Now, what we can do, this is again applicable to like B2C, B2B, and B2G. Again, obviously, you can start some platform from. So you can think, हमें क्या चालू करना है, right? Serving to particular customers, some platforms are okay, you directly serving to particular customer. Right? Directly आप customer आपसे खरीदेंगे, that's called B2C. Business to business. Some product services are there, you will be selling to those business houses. Right? कोई direct customer को आप नहीं खरीद पाएंगे. Right? It's called B2B. Some platforms, again, you are creating something helping government. Government, right? Some of you must be aware about public-private partnership or any other initiative. They come up with government को भी एक solution की जरूरत है. Right? In that case, you can create some platform or product, idea, services, and then government will be beneficiary of your product and service. So that way, customer ke liye you can identify, you want to focusing on customer, or same thing can happen. Right? You are serving to customer also, you are serving to business or to B2B, right? Or that also can happen, right? It's up to you. Now, example again, see like from the let me give the example. Now look at this. Now law student, they started something, you can say here for the trucks. So say Nikita says again student from Gujarat National Law University, and then she did the postgraduate diploma in management, right, in entrepreneurship, like PGDM in entrepreneurship, business में उसने course किया, and then they started this platform called तत्काल लॉरी. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल इट्स उबर फॉर ट्रक्स. जैसे ट्रक जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल लखनऊ से प्रयागराज जा रहा है. सो अगेन इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट, राइट? अगेन रिटर्न आ रहा है, सो कॉस्ट विल बी हायर. सो व्हाट विल हैपन, लाइक द अरेंजमेंट, लाइक एज आई टोल्ड यू उबर फॉर लॉरी. सो वहां से रिटर्न आ रहा है, सो दैट काइंड ऑफ अरेंजमेंट विल बी डन. सो वहां पे भी वहां से भी किसी को माल लखनऊ भेजना है, लखनऊ से प्रयागराज भेजना है. सो दैट इज रेट, इट विल रियली कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव, राइट? Now, second example, the VSC started platform for the artist. So again, they say, please do not disturb why you are from law background or management, engineering, right? Recently, a couple of law students, so they are doing masters from MICA, Mudra Institute of Communication in Ahmedabad. It's a very well-known in the communication field in India. There were 5 students, and out of that, right, so there were 2 meetings. I had to mentor them. So one student, he did LLB from like 5-year law, and then 2-3 were engineers. Now they are planning to build a platform for lawyers, like providing legal services at the affordable rates. Now you can see 3 from IT, and then 3 for engineer, 1 from law background. So the 4 to 5 students, they are working on building a platform for giving legal services. So this is it's all about identifying problem. Please do not relate your education, your study with that particular idea that you are thinking. It may be something very different, right? You'll be selling something, right, or eatables, or starting some food outlets, right, in your future. Please do not shy, right? If a very good idea, right, obviously you can scale up. Now this is the platform in law. They started very something differently, right? And then now they are focusing on law memes. Various platforms you might have seen, they are earning lakhs of rupees per month. They started, now they are creating only memes, and then without any advertisement, nothing. So now they are having around 1 lakh plus likes, followers on Facebook. It's a very different, very Herculean task, let me tell you, getting likes and followers on the Facebook. It's a commendable job, and he's practicing right now in Calcutta. So again, his team is running this initiative right now, and obviously they are running this course. Now here's to technology part. I will talk about the management also. I've been informed they are student from management engineering background also. Now Dux is one of the, they are research karte, they are into like, think tank in law policy per research karte. So they had a MOU with IIT Delhi. So now all of you must be aware right now the buzzword, right? Chat GPT, right? I'm not wondering like student, you'll be submitting your assignment and project with the help of GPT in a few hours on a few days, I would say, right? We won't be wondering. Recently, yesterday we were might have seen like Punjab and Haryana High Court, they use Chat GPT while giving their judgment. So they put up that particular part. Okay, this was a question, and the response from the Chat GPT, right? Some of you might have seen, or you can see later on how it's helping. So it's again you can say how technology helping, right? So it's all about problem solving. I keep telling those things. Identify a problem, just forget about. It's all about the problem solving approach. मैंने क्या पढ़ाई की है, क्या मैंने पढ़ा है, क्या पढ़ रहा हूँ, doesn't matter, right? आप वो problem solve कर सकते हैं. So they come up with, they have a MOU, IIT Delhi, and they're working on the law and technology part, law and management part also, you can work it out. Now, Supreme Court recently, they come up with hackathon. Apne dekha hoga, right? Various hackathons are there, sometimes very open or focusing on particular area, various ministry, state level and the national level, then union, central government also, they come up with hackathon. So hackathon pe kya hota hai, right? There's a problem, right? And you have to work on that particular problem and come up with solutions. You'll be get funding support also. Your idea will be implemented by central and state government also. Obviously, due recognition will be given to you also. Supreme Court now you can see close to it will close crossing 5 crore cases, pendency of cases. So we need technology management also in that particular domain area. It's not about like a legal professional, they have to solve this problem. Now, you can see from like, here, committee from the Argentina, again, they are helping that judiciary to solving this problem, pendency of, dealing with the pendency of cases. So I request you, when there is a hackathon, business plan competition, so you just, participate. As a faculty, I have participated in a couple of business plan competition. I presented my idea, ProBono India and other idea before the panelists. So this is the way you'll get the exposure on that, how to think, make a presentation with them, right? It's not about getting funding. Sometimes, getting more funding or reach. For example, Shark Tank, right? As I told you, they already started business. Why they came to Shark Tank? To further get the advantage. Money and then obviously mentorship also. This is example you can see there are 3 engineers, right? Arpit, Harsh and Neelam. They approached me a few years back and they all are engineers. They started a platform called Legal Mind. So we can see this is an example. As a management, okay, we need management in judiciary also, same thing. I'm from law background. I give a couple of example. I'm from medical, right? There are some example. I'm from law background, somebody from engineering or medical background. I started something field in that, particular field. One, I don't remember right now the name, from Kolkata. There were 2, the founders. So one was lawyer and one was engineers, and they started this platform. So this is a way example, like for example, you're from management background, engineer, right? You can talk to, right? Talk to your friends on the campus, off the campus, anything, right? Other states also, other country also, you can think. So that way you can build up that particular, platform. Now, this is the last slide from my side. As I told you, as a faculty, I've been working in this, startup area. I thought and then I initiated, and obviously I got very good support from, friends, teachers also, colleagues also, and then various support from students also. So this is the platform I started. Like, I was working to have my own website. And then I remember I asked my cousin to book this domain name klgupta.in. So, and then it was around maybe 2013. So I asked him, and then it took around 3-4 years. He didn't do anything. And then I asked my friend, he's working the software company, and then he developed this idea website. And then on that website was a pro bono is a legal aid thing. Pro bono is in public interest, right? For your understanding. So pro bono was a tab on that, KL Gupta website. So I thought, it's a very something different thing. And then I talked to again, all the website developed by my friend, the company. And then I started this initiative 2016 and built up a separate, because that's a very separate from my personal, this website. Legal startup, again, I'm from law background, so many are not aware about the legal startups. So I keep talking about legal startups. I was while working in GNL, Gujarat National Law Institute at Gandhinagar. So in that I learned, and then there are very few, I would say 3 to 4 students, they are working on legal startup, they got funding, and then later on, it takes some time. Don't think, okay, you come up with some policy skills, and then because you have to make student aware about this thing, they have to support them, plan some activities, right? Discuss business plan competition, workshop, seminar, guest lectures. Some entrepreneur will come, he or she will talk about his journey, how he started, right? There will be alumni from your institutions, college, university, right? You can invite them, ask them to share your stories. So it will really help, right? Some will be obviously we cannot make every student as an entrepreneur, but there will, I would say 5 to 10 students will be get motivation and will start something. So again, related to legal aid platform, it's a Pro Bono India legal startup again. So on working on legal startups, making popular about the legal startup and doing various activity under that banner, I started this thing to court management. Like Finance Commission around 2010, they allocated, as I told you, there's a requirement of, IT management, human resource management, infrastructure management, IT, technological management. It's required by the judiciary also. It's not like on a legal professional of will study it, law, they will be helping, assisting our judicial. So now you can see there are court managers also, they have studied. There's a requirement of 5 year experience, MBAs, qualifications, IT experience for 5 years in IT, human resource, and then different, there were criteria. And now you can see there are various court managers around, I would say more than 350 court managers are there all over the, like in district court, you will see in high court also. So now again, see, there's a requirement of, management in that. IT, management, infrastructure, and then for the law teachers India, I started this one of the project by the Gujarat government. I suggested a platform for the Gujarat law teachers. So this is the way. Sometimes you think it won't, take up, but again, idea is that it will help you after some time. It's okay, and then later on, I thought, I have sent a mail to law teachers, and across India. And then I got the support and I launched this website, Law Teachers India. So you can check it out. I'm not going to detail. This is the brief journey I thought, let me share how it started. And related to funding, I asked for help, different kind of fellows. Sometimes you'll get like, my developer friend, he supported me. He took very minimal charge from creating website. Obviously, you can create website from yourself also if you have many platforms are there. Related to other funding support, I got support from court managers related to building this website. Got support from law teachers. They supported me to launch this, website. So again, this is the thing. If you thought of, right, you'll get the support initially, but शुरू में आपको काम करना पड़ेगा. Don't think, okay, I have an idea and that will grow. Start working for at least few months, right? Talk to your friends, faculty members, colleagues, go to incubation center. I don't know how many of been to your incubation center recently. Very recently, I've been, as I told you, they are not aware about the student. As I told you, they are the first year student, a PG student, incubation center. I told them, go to your incubation center. This I gave them link. They are there on the campus. They are not aware about this thing. So we have to publicize, startups, incubation systems, support, what kind of support systems are available. And as a faculty also, we have to make them aware, right? This is the thing, like, okay, whatever fields you are there, but I can say there will be around 5 to 10% student from my guess and experience. Students are there. They really want to do out of box. But again, they need some guidance initially, right? As a faculty, and obviously we need some fire from student side also. And then I keep guiding students also. And as I told you, I have learned so many things from the students startup. So thank you very much for the giving me opportunity. I tried to briefly discuss this.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. You have really given a very exhaustive and very informative speech on startups, innovation, and other aspects. And I hope and believe that your lecture will be very beneficial for the students. And of course, legal startup also, because for law students, it's really a very new area and a very innovative area about legal startup, innovation, incubation. So, and I think that we have enjoyed your lecture because you have given so many lectures, so many examples, and you have given so many examples for explaining the thought of innovation and startup. So it was really very insightful and very explained lecture. Thank you, sir, so much. Thank you for spending your valuable time with us. Thank you so much. Now I invite.
Just a second. I would also like to thank Dr. Kalpesh ji for his such an informative and enriching ideas on the legal startup and other things also. So I personally thank Kalpeshkumar ji for taking his time
Thank
out
you, ma'am. Thank you.
for such a busy work schedule he has always. So thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I invite Professor Shishir Kumar, sir, Vice President IIC, for a few words, to say a few words.
Sir has joined?
I think sir has joined.
Yeah, he is there.
Sir is there?
He is there, Professor Shishir Kumar.
Shishir, sir?
Okay, call Professor R.P. Singh ji for his
Yes, sir.
presentation.
So now I invite Professor Rana Pratap Singh, sir, President IIC, for his presidential remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Sophia. Professor Saxena, Professor Priti Misra, Professor Singh, who had been here, probably he is not now. He has left the meeting, and Dr. Kalpeshkumar Gupta ji, all other colleagues who have joined the program. I congratulate the Department of School for Legal Studies and Department of Law for organizing such a very significant session. The idea which is comes to our mind, and we think that it is it can be evolved as a innovation, require various steps. Our experts discussed the importance of different steps, like assessment of the idea for its usability and development of a product. Similarly, this IPR issue and regulatory aspects which regulate the various aspects of the trade and including innovations, and then how we can attract the funds, because production and marketing require a very strong network to compete. Then one has to be very clear that your product or your idea should be something novel, which is not existing, and by other funders or other collaborators which are associated, are required to be associated at different levels. So we must understand that it requires a series of events and participation of stages. Now, in our university, we have initiated some ecosystem. A series of workshops and conferences are going on, and our students and researchers and faculty are getting exposure of many different fields who have already established entrepreneurship or some innovations, and talking about different aspects, IPR or funding arrangements or say marketing aspects and so on. So it is very I think very encouraging for all of our colleagues and the students that now our university is building a very strong ecosystem for innovation and entrepreneurship. Well, now I think on behalf of the university, I will request our colleagues, and also I will encourage our students to enter into real business. Unless they will enter into some projects related to innovation, and our center is also expected to be in action very recently. Professor Naveen Arora is working on that. So unless we will enter into the steps, the first step and then second step and series of steps, it will be difficult to understand the real insight and real challenges one has to face it. So at the end of the day, success matters. So the successful outcome will be counted. Nothing succeed like success. So in these context, I would like to request you all to see that after this environment building, after this series of lectures, some action is getting started in the campus so that we can enter into the next phase. So with these words and with my best wishes, I express my gratefulness to all of you for inviting me and allowing me to participate in the event. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. Sir really pointed out rightly that we are creating the ecosystem of startup and innovation in our university. And sir, in the able guidance of your, it is really going well. All the departments are involved in organizing such activities which are related to innovation, startup, and all that. So thank you so much, sir. And at the end of the workshop, I thank all of you. I thank our Honorable VC sir for already always giving encouragement and inspiration to all of us for organizing such an event. I thank Professor Preeti Mishra Madam, Dean SLS. I thank Professor Preeti Saxena Madam, Director CPGLS. I thank all the colleagues, Professor Shishir Kumar sir, Professor Naveen Arora sir. I thank the speakers, Professor Rajnish Singh sir and Dr. Kalpeshkumar Gupta ji, for giving your valuable time. I thank all the students. Thank the head Department of Law, Professor Sanjeev Kumar Chadda sir, and Dr. Anish sir, Dr. Ajay Kushwaha sir, all those who have joined the session. I thank you all. Thank you, Shishir sir, and thank you all the students for listening the talk, and I hope that this workshop will be very much beneficial for all of us. Thank you all.